everybody. This is Leo Ramos, your Body Mind Success Coach. Today, I am going to focus this video on answering one question. And that question is one of the most popular questions that I get as a success coach. That question is, Leo, what is one of the most powerful things that you've done to help your success? Now, if you know me, you know that I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of hours as well, and a lot of energy on personal growth, success, anything that has to do with the improvement of myself, my health, my mind, my emotions, my spirituality, things of that nature. I've actually let go of careers and moved into other careers so to make sure that I continue to grow. So this in and of itself has allowed me to experience a lot of great trainings, a lot of great support, a lot of wonderful coaches, and it's really almost too difficult to say this one thing has done it. But there is one thing, one mindset that has actually really helped me create the success that I've created and being able to help a lot of individuals create the success that they wanted. I've helped people being able to emotionally be able to stand on stage when they first thought that they could not even fathom the thought of being in front of people, and they went ahead and now doing trainings. I've had people that have gone from 30,000 to 300,000 in 1 year financially just because they were able to make some of these shifts, and they're powerful. I mean, just phenomenal. There's people who have just come to me with just simply wanting to get past a stage of feeling stuck in their lives, more of a life coach, if you would. And they've been able to create some wonderful changes in their life where they are now moving forward in the direction that they wanted to move, and they're much happier. So what I'm about to share with you plays a role in any area that you want in your life, whether it's business, whether it's personal, either one, it'll work. But you've got to have an understanding of what that mindset is. And let me give you a little bit of history first about how I came to this. And then I'll tell you how you might be able to do something about it. My goal is that by the time you're done watching this video, you're inspired to do something different in your life that'll help you get one step closer or many steps closer to your goal, to your success, however you choose to define that. So, what got me to the point of getting clear and choosing something that'll really help? Well, a long time ago, there was a particular training, I don't remember the exact name of the training, but one thing that's really stuck out of that was the understanding that the way that I think is directly linked to the way that I feel. The way that I feel is directly connected to the actions that I take. And the actions that I take are directly related to the results that I get. So let's make that into something a little more practical. Let's say I want to ask a girl out on a date. Well, I'm married, but just for the argument's sake. And I'm too shy to ask her. She might reject me, she might accept me, she might, anything of that feeling. Now, the way that I thought, she might reject me, she might not accept me, I may not be, maybe she's too good enough for me, any of that kind of thinking has contributed to the way that you feel, meaning probably lack of confidence, insecure, maybe something that you're like shy, however you want to phrase it, but something, it made you feel something. If you felt that shy or lack of confidence, then you probably didn't act on it. And since you wouldn't act on it, then the result is you probably ended up not asking that girl out. That doesn't mean you didn't get together. Maybe she asked you out. Who knows? But my point being is whether you were able to do the things to get the results that you wanted. That process of understanding how you think, connecting to the emotions and the actions into the result is the number one key that helped me move along and be able to create the success that I want. Now, that's not the training. That's just the thinking, the initial part of the thinking. So once that became clear to me, then I said, okay, I've got to learn more about how to work with my emotions, because I realized that in my childhood, in my school, in my upbringing, in my environment, I never really was taught how to work with emotions. I was told, don't be angry, don't get mad. Um, you don't, you're not allowed to ask for things as a kid. Your voice is not important enough. Things of that nature is part of what I picked up as a kid, whether actually somebody said that to me or whether it was something that I just sort of picked up as a child. Now, that being said, I realized that I needed to work in that arena. I needed to understand how that worked so that I could make the changes. In that research, in finding out how does this all work, I said, okay, let's find out how this all works together. It became clear to me there was 5 steps. 5 steps in order to be able to make that lasting change. And those 5 steps were, number 1, I had to create an awareness. An awareness that something needed to change. If I'm not aware that something needs to change, then I can't begin to change it. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. The second thing is I needed to make a commitment to actually make the change. And not a commitment like, yeah, that sounds really good, I'll do it. But it was more like, I have to do this. Absolutely, this is something that has to change in my life because it no longer serves me. Now, I'm going to put a little pause here because there's 2 ways you can get to that choice. Because you will get to that choice. It's just a matter of how. I chose to be proactive about it. Say, okay, I know that this needs to change for my life because if this keeps going on, at some point, it's not going to be good results. So I became proactive about making the changes, finding the support, finding a way that some way that I can help change the way that I think and the way that I feel, connect the body and the mind, or the head and the heart, in a way that would serve me to create my success. The second option is wait until you're absolutely hit rock bottom or you're up against the wall and you really have no other choice but you either move forward or you're going to get a result you really don't want. Now, whether this be a disease that you've got to a point that you're so ill that you're like, okay, if I keep going this way, I'm going to die. Or if I make the choice prior to that, you know what? I know this is not heading in the right direction. My health doesn't feel right. I need to make these changes. Now you're being proactive about it. Okay? So you're either going to be reactive or proactive about the whole process. My goal is to encourage you to be proactive about it. Do something now while you have the energy to make those changes. So the second is commitment. The third is to be able to find out what the cause and the effects are. For example, let's say you don't have a date. Well, back to that example. I was too shy. I don't have a date. Okay, got it. I get that you don't have a date. That's the result. Okay? That's the effect. But what was the cause? Well, I was too shy. Well, that was part of it. But what thinking, what learning did you have at a core level that taught you that it wasn't okay for you to ask for what you wanted or to have the fear of rejection? Okay? Because if you learned that early on, whether it was in childhood, whether it was as you're growing up, wherever you learned it, you started to shape your life with part of that in it. The fear of rejection. If you were afraid to ask for that date, were you afraid to fill out an application for that job that you really wanted? Were you afraid to go for that play, the position, the high school play that just didn't, that you would have loved, but you were too afraid that you might be rejected? What are those kind of things? Are you afraid of being up on stage because fear of rejection of the crowd? Okay, if any of that, look at all the areas, all the effects that core thought had. And that's why I said earlier on that I've helped people be able to go from 30,000 to 300,000 because that particular example that I'm sharing with you, it was an individual who understood what I'm sharing with you now, and took it from what they were not asking for what they wanted, and they changed that simple thing. Emotionally, mentally, they lined those up, and they said, okay, took a different action. And that different action yielded amazing success for them, financially in that particular case. And it works in different areas of your life, like I said. So, cause and effect. You got to get to the cause, the true cause of it. Now that you've identified that, now you get to remove it and replace it. Replace it with something that works for you. Something that will serve you to create the life that you want. And finally, you got to integrate it because it's a whole new learning. You've got to actually put it into your life in a way that's going to be there forever. Those 5 steps became very clear to me. And initially I said, well, I can do that myself. And I started to do it myself. I played with it, and I got so far. I mean, it was a good experiment. It got to a certain point. But one of the things I realized is that it was really a challenge for me to be able to deal with my own process of the emotions of what I was thinking, what I was experiencing, from my perspective only. So having a source from outside, having a process that would help me be able to reflect back when I was doing what I was doing and when I was doing it, how I was showing up, that became very powerful. And that's precisely the one process that I share with you that is probably the most powerful thing that I have done. Because it put what I've just shared with you in education and knowledge into practice, into experiencing, into actually making those changes. And when I did, it was phenomenal. My life changed. I was a whole new me. And that's the part that I love passing on to other people. That's the part that I believe is the core. Because think about it. Anything that you do, anything, involves the way that you think about it, the way that you feel about it. If those line up, then you're already heading, and you're taking the actions, then you're headed in the direction of creating the success that you want. If they're not lined up, if you're thinking one thing where you're feeling something different, they're misaligned, then your mind's going this way, your heart's going that way, and there's a disconnect. So you won't get, at least at best you'll get a mediocre result, because it's not exactly the way that you envisioned it. But now line those two up, get exactly what you want. And it's absolutely the key to be able to move forward, to be able to continue to create that success. And that, if you learn how to do it, well, I should say when you learn how to do that, it's amazing the life that you can create in any arena in your life. Let's go back to some of the examples. Let's think about the same scenarios of the date. If you're not afraid, or if you don't have a fear of rejection, think about that. If you don't have a fear of rejection, what are all the things that you would have done in your life? You just walk right up, meet somebody. Hi, how you doing? Nice to meet you. I saw you from across the room, and I really, just wanted to meet you. So, not being afraid of being rejected. Maybe going for that high school play. Wouldn't that be fun? Maybe speaking in front of people. Maybe in a business, asking for the referral without the fear of being rejected. See how it shows up in a bunch of different places? Now you're able to work with that and be able to change that. Then think of all the other areas in your life that could completely change. Now that's just one core concept. There's many others, because who knows which ones are the ones that are affecting your life. So that being the case, I wanted to make sure that I shared with you the answer to the original question, which is, what is one of the most powerful process that I have done that has helped my success? And that simply is a process that has helped me align the way that I think with the way that I feel. So the education along with the emotion, and to be able to experience how to shift that, how to shift whatever's misaligned and to align the two. There's different names for them. Some people have gone through a Fisher-Hoffman process. Other people have gone through something called releasing the past. There's plenty of labels to it. But the key is, what will help shift that, and who has the experience and the knowledge and has actually gone through it to be able to get you from point A to point B. Well, I'm excited to be able to share with you that I've joined my work with somebody else who has done this work for the past 20 years or so, has helped hundreds of people to create amazing success. And I would love to share anything that I can about this process in more detail, specific to you, if it's something that's of interest and you want to find out more. Now, I'm not here to sell you anything other than to share with you some tools that are powerful, that are useful, that have been part of my life, that have helped me create the next level of success, and to pass those on to you. I feel that if you watching this video and watching it a couple of times, you'll get something different out of it. But more importantly, the question is, what will you take action on? And people that know me know that I'm always sitting there going, okay, so what are you going to act on next? What are you going to do next? Maybe it's a phone call to somebody that can help move you along. If you want to give us a call, feel free to do so. If you want to shoot me an email, feel free to do so. If you want to visit our website, feel free to do so. Do anything, do something that'll help you move along so that you can create that next level of success. If you want to find out more about this particular process, I'd be happy to share with you anything that I can. So if it's appropriate for you, you can go ahead and do that. But my point is this: take action, do something. Get yourself to the next level by taking that action. And once you've got the support, and once you've got the understanding of how to switch the way that you think along with the way that you feel, line those two up. Look at what actions you'll take and watch the results you'll get. So I trust that this video has been of support to you, that you'll gain a lot out of it, and feel free to give me a call. I invite you to give me a call or shoot me an email, and I'd be happy to support you in any way that I can. Again, this is Leo Ramos, your Body Mind Success Coach, wishing you the next level of success. Thank you.